Hey guys, let's take a look at some MPC dinosaur figures. MPC is Multiple Products Corporation, also known as Multiple Toy Makers. And starting in 1961, they manufactured some toy dinosaurs that were basically just Marx knockoffs. And they made a lot of these things through the 60s and 70s. And those of us who grew up in those years, hold these things dear to our hearts. I mean, they're cheap little, knockoffs, like I said, but at the time when I started first buying these things, probably 1963 or 1964, you didn't see much of the Marx dinosaurs in stores because, they had quit making the big play sets and they wouldn't start back up with those until 1971. And you saw the carded ones once in a while, but when Multiple filled that void with their toy dinosaurs, they sold so many. I don't know how many tens of thousands, maybe millions of these things they sold. They made so many of them that they're still plentiful in the marketplace. But anyway, we really enjoyed playing with them, and they were sold on blister cards like that one right there. Uh, and also in bags with header cards, and they made a few play sets, and early on they made some pretty spectacular little play sets that were like in window boxes, and those are kind of hard to find. I wish I had more of the packaged examples of the multiple dinosaurs, but I just you can only in your lifetime you have opportunities to get things, and you can't own everything. So, but anyway, I mean, I've got so many of the loose dinosaurs, it's ridiculous, as a lot of us do. Us monster and dino kids that grew up in the 60s, we thrived on these things. And basically, these MPC dinosaurs, as I mentioned, are Marx knockoffs, and they're very similar to the Marx figures, except in most cases they're smaller. They use less plastic. Some of them have the hollow bellies and stuff like that. And also the detail just isn't there on the first series, the first 12. I'm going to explain that in a second. The second series now, there are 5 of those figures that are unique to MPC, and those are sculpted very, very well. And the others, even that are Marx knockoffs, they look good too. So the quality of the sculpts varied greatly between the first 12, which was Series 1, and the second 12, which was Series 2. In 1961, MPC came out with Series 1. I'm going to go over those with you. There were 3 mold groups within that set of 12. Here's the 12. I've got them lined up according to the mold groups. And they were all the same color within that mold group when they ran them, but then they mixed them up when they put them on the cards and stuff a lot of times. Not always. I mean, here you can see on this card, they have the Tyrannosaurus mold group all in the silver. That's the Tyrannosaurus, the Trachodon, the Chronosaurus, and the Brontosaurus. And likewise, the other complete mold groups are all in one color. So they just took those right out of, when that mold got through running, they just took those right out and put them right on the card. Sometimes you see some variance in that, especially with some of the smaller sets, and you see some variance in color. I mean, there were no hard and fast rules for MPC. They were like the bargain basement Marks, and they did their own thing. They just were cost effective and they cranked them out. So anyway, we're going to go over these one by one. I'm going to show you the sculpts. Here's one of the early Tyrannosaurus in the white. It's actually kind of an uncommon color for that one. And this is based on the Marx Sleek T-Rex, not the Potbelly. And you see that you know, it's not a bad little dinosaur toy, but it's just kind of a pale imitation of the Marx sleek T-Rex. And let's go to the Brontosaurus. Now, the Brontosaurus is quite different from the Marx Brontosaurus. For one thing, the head is turned to the side, and it doesn't have that round-looking Camarasaurus skull head that the Marx Brontosaurus had. It's actually, the head looks actually a little bit more like an Apatosaurus, probably by accident. But anyway, these are not that much bigger than the regular, than its dinosaur brethren by MPC. And one good thing that Marx did, they made the Brontosaurus a lot bigger because in life it was a much bigger animal. And there again, you know, just simplistic sculpting, but it's different enough to be interesting. Here's the Chronosaurus. It's like a small version of the Marx Chronosaurus. Small, simplistic, kind of bland. But, you know, when you're a kid, this stuff's pretty cool. And, of course, they had the name and the length of them on the tail there. I'm going to try to get one of them in. I'm not going to show many of these because this camera gets a little bit stubborn sometimes trying to focus, and I don't want to take too much time waiting on it, but it says Chronosaurus, you know. And here is the Trachodon. And it's a knockoff of the revised mold group Trachodon by Marx. You can tell pretty much the way the arms are situated there. And, you know, like I said, not bad. Not spectacular, not bad. Now here's the other, the second mold group within that set of 12. This is the Allosaurus mold group, these four, and this then is the Allosaurus. And of course it's based on the Marx Allosaurus. Kind of a wrinkly head there. And that's in the gray. You didn't really see many of them in the gray. That was early on. And here is the Ankylosaurus. It's like a skinnier, cheaper version of the Marx Ankylosaurus. In a nutshell, that kind of sums up MPC versus Marx. And at some point, I may do a video on the comparisons between the dinosaurs, between Marx and MPC, but that's for another time. This is a Stegosaurus. You know, nice texture. It's just a knockoff Marx Stegosaurus. Same thing for the Triceratops. All four of those were in the same mold group. And as you can see on that carded example, they're all in blue. So they just took them right out of the mold and put them on the card. Here's the Dimetrodon mold group. Of course, this is just a knockoff of the Marx Dimetrodon. The legs are positioned a little bit differently, though. And these are definitely worth collecting. If you're a toy dinosaur fan, you know, even though these are cheaper versions of Marx and all that, they are definitely worth collecting because they hold such a place in dinosaur toy history. They're classics. And here is the Cynognathus. See that the belly's kind of hollowed out there to save a little bit on plastic? Marx didn't do that. Kind of sprawled out a little bit more than the Marx. Here's the Pteranodon. Whoops. Direct knockoff of the Marx Pteranodon in the green. And the Plateosaurus. Probably more MPC Plateosaurus in the world than anything else. Between the original ones and all the knockoffs later, it's ubiquitous, man. But anyway, there you go. That's that mold group, the Dimetrodon mold group. That's the 12 first series that came out in 1961. And as you can see, they're in the red on this carded example here. All four of those. Now we go to the second series set. There are 12 of them. They were on another carded set called Monsters and Mammals. And I really wish I had that one, but I do not. So I'm going to go through it here. Here is the Glyptodont mold group. It's Starting out with the Glyptodont. And that's not really a genus name. That's like a common name, I think. They went with common names for some of these. And here is the Serratogallus, you know, a little giant rat with horns. Matter of fact, I used some of these in my custom monster playset, the Haunted Graveyard playset. Here's the dire wolf. Now, this is one of the unique ones, and so is the Serratogallus. Marks did not have a dire wolf or a Serratogallus. I use these dire wolves in my custom playset too. But anyway, the sculpts are really great on these. Very much better than the sculpts on Series 1. And here's the Struthiomimus, and it's basically, you know, a knockoff of the Marks Struthiomimus. And it's good, you know, it's not inferior or anything. It's probably as good as the Marks, but it's just a knockoff. Now here's the second mole group within that second series, the Diatrima mole group. Here's the Diatrima in the gray. This is another one of the unique ones. Big carnivorous birds that used to run around and kill everything except something bigger and meaner. And here is the Moschops. He's kind of a favorite. He's a Marks knockoff. He's got the belly hollowed out to save on plastic. MPC, that was their thing, you know. Affordable alternative to Marks. And the price on these, as you see by this carded example, you could get the whole card of the series of 12 for 98 cents. This is 1964 that's from. And I don't know if they were any cheaper in 1961 when they first came out, but it's possible that they were cheaper. Anyway, this Moschops is pretty cool. It's got good texture, you know, and just hollowed out. Here is the MPC Smilodon in the silver. Now, the silver color does not denote anything unusual with MPC. That was one of the common colors. With Marks, it's a premium color. But with MPC, it's just common. And this is a good stab at a Smilodon. You know, it's almost as bulky as the Marks and probably as good. Here's the Styracosaurus. That is a knockoff of the Marks. Okay, that's the Diatrima mole group. Now the last mole group in Series 2, the Woolly Mammoth mole group. And here is the Woolly Mammoth in blue. Now, a lot of these came in metallic blue, which is somewhat of a premium color. I think this is the Macrauchenia. Sometimes they're not too stark metallic. I think this one is metallic blue. It's got kind of a silvery sheen to it. And here is the Megatherium. Now this is knocked off of. Oh yeah, the Macrauchenia is a unique animal too. There are 5 of the unique ones only MPC did. That's the Glyptodont, the Serratogallus, the direwolf, the Diatrima, and the Macrauchenia. Now back to this. Here is the Megatherium, which is a giant ground sloth. And you see they made him kind of skinny in the belly area there to save on plastic, no doubt. And a lot of times when you find these, the sharp toes are kind of dulled off where kids would, you know, play with them and wear the toes off of them. I've seen a lot of them where they were worn kind of dull there. And here's the last one, the Parasaurolophus. And this is a knockoff of the Marks Parasaurolophus. It's just a little skinnier, you know. But it's sculpted fairly well. And there you go. That's kind of a rundown of Series 1 and 2 of the MPC dinos, just to familiarize you with like the mole groups and stuff. Now they didn't, I don't know, they probably had some kind of a factory designation, like a number for these mold groups, but I don't know what those are. I've never seen those, you know, in any information source that I've seen about these things. So usually people just identify them by a significant one of the dinosaurs out of that mold group, like the Tyrannosaurus mold group, the Allosaurus mold group, the Dimetrodon mold group, and so on. And that's the way, you know, we understand those mold groups. They're not set in stone like with the play sets, like the marks. With marks, when they populated a dinosaur play set, it was by mold group, and except for a premium figure they might put in there in a different color, and they were all color matching, and it was cut and dried, and they'd have like either one or two shots of a certain mold group for certain play set, and they were all color matching. Now with the bigger play sets that MPC did, they just went for a total number of dinosaurs, and I'm pretty sure they tried to have like one each of all 24 of them, and then just varying numbers of additional ones of duplicates to get up to that you know, that total, like whatever the total would be for that set, like 48 dinosaurs, 60 dinosaurs, whatever. Now let's go to the serial premiums. That's these. 3 of the mold groups were used by the Nabisco company for their wheat honeys and rice honeys in the late 60s. And the colors on those are a little different, and 2 of the colors are unique. You can only find those colors in the cereal premiums. And some of the others are unique to that mold group, I think. But anyway, we're going to take a look at those. The Tyrannosaurus mold group is one of them. Here he is in the orange. And, you know, orange and purple are the 2 unique colors for the cereal premiums. I don't think you can get those any other way in orange and purple unless they're the original cereal premiums. There's the Brontosaurus in purple. And as you can see, it's the same mold group right here, the Tyrannosaurus mold group. Here is the Chronosaurus in the purple. Camera is confused. Try to show. You've already seen the sculpts, but in these colors, they're pretty cool. So now here's the only red one I actually have, this Trachodon, and I'm pretty sure that in this, the Trachodon's part of the Tyrannosaurus mold group, and I don't think you could get them in the red color in that mold group except for the cereal premiums. And here is the second mold group of the cereal premiums, the Dimetrodon mold group. Now this is in like a deep green, kind of a darkish. Green is one of the common colors for the MPC dinos, but this is different than the normal green. Let me get one of these up here and show you up close. See the difference there? It's kind of duller, but it's kind of like a, I don't know how to describe it. It's just a different shade of green than the standard green, which that direwolf is. And the second one in that cereal premium mold group, the Dimetrodon group, is the Cynognathus, and it is in that green as well. And Pteranodon is in purple. And of course, you know, you could find them in the different types in the cereal boxes in the different colors, but all the cereal premiums had them in these wild colors. And compared to the regular MPC dinosaurs, that's saying something because they were all brightly colored. That was one thing MPC really excelled at. Actually, over Marks was the bright colors in general of their product. And these cereal premiums are in even brighter colors. You know, and kids love that stuff, man. There's the Plateosaurus in that cereal premium green. Now here's the Diatrima. This is kind of a canary yellow. The yellow color was pretty common. Uh, you can see here, this is from the 70s, early 70s, this blister card. And I'll explain this. This is a special one, but I'll explain this in a minute. But you can see that yellow, you got a lot of these in the big play sets. They'd have like hordes of yellow dinosaurs, but it's a different yellow. This is a deeper, darker yellow in the cereal premiums than this lighter yellow that's more common in the regular dinos. And then you had this deep blue color uh, for these some of these others. Here's the moss chops in the deep blue with the cereal premiums. And here is an orange smilodon. And here is the blue Styracosaurus. Okay, those are the colors that I know of. All of them, really. There were, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different of the cereal premium colors there, I guess. And those are the only ones I know of that were available as cereal premiums. And we'll talk about what you might have to pay for these things. Oh yeah, let me show you the cavemen. I just put those out here for the heck of it. Now they knocked off 3 of the Marx cavemen, and they're just about the size of the Marx cavemen, just a little bit smaller and a little bit skinnier. And they've got the holes in the base because in a lot of the accessories like the cave and the palm trees and stuff that MPC made, you could stick the cavemen down over the little posts on the cave or tree, and they'd stay if that's what you wanted to do. That was like a common thing with MPC. They did that with their weird monsters and a lot of their figures, because they'd put posts on playset pieces to stick them down on. That was the guy with the stone axe and the knife, and here's the guy holding the rock over his head. Now, the early cavemen were in yellow, and then the later ones were in red. I've got some of the ones in yellow. I'll go over those. I just wanted to show you what the cavemen looked like, too. There are only 3 different ones by MPC. And the market on these things, the loose dinos, there are so many of them. Now, if you buy them individually and you're kind of picky and you want maybe certain colors of certain dinosaurs, I've seen sellers ask, $7, $8, $10, even $12 a piece for them. And some of them are considered somewhat premium pieces, not big time, but somewhat. Like this woolly mammoth, that is, in general, a premium piece. And, you might pay like 2 or 3 times the normal price. But in general, these things are so common, just about all of them, in the normal colors, the common colors, that when you buy them in lots off of the internet auction sites, you're probably just going to pay about $1 or 2 a piece. Now, you figure in shipping and tax and all that, maybe closer to 3 a piece sometimes, but I'd just be patient and try to get them cheap. That's what I did. I accumulated boxes of those things, and I have a huge amount of duplicates, but I got what I wanted out of there, and I got them all, probably for around $1 a piece, maybe less in some cases. And like these common woolly mammoth, especially in the metallic blue, they might run you like $5, $6, $8 or something like that. But the rest of them, like I said, $1 or 2 a piece when you buy them in lots. Okay, the cereal premiums are more. You can expect to pay probably $8, $10 a piece for them because there are much less of those around now than there are of the normal MPC dinosaurs. And of course, the condition matters a lot too. I'm talking about ones in nice condition that don't have breaks and missing pieces and bad scuffs and all that. Nobody really wants to fool with that. These things are so plentiful. Just wait and get something in nice condition. But you can generally get these cereal premiums, for around $8 or $10 a piece. And it's worth it if you're into it. especially if you remember getting them out of the cereal boxes like I do when I was a kid. Now, the cereal boxes themselves are quite expensive because they did not survive, and there are not many of those around still. I don't know even what the fair market value is for one of those cereal boxes. If you can find one in excellent condition, a flat, in other words, one that's been emptied out years ago and folded flat for storage and all that, I would think maybe at least a couple of $100, maybe more. If you found one that's never been opened before, that's still got the cereal and the dino in it, and if the box is nice, who knows? It could go for absolutely stupid money. And also, there was an offer where you could send off, when you bought the cereal box that had the free dinosaur in it from the Wheat Honeys or Rice Honeys, they had an offer where you could send off and get a 4-piece terrain set in gray and 3 palm trees. And I think it had 3 cavemen with it. And that way you would gradually collect the dinosaurs out of the cereal boxes, and you could build your own playset that way. And those are pretty scarce now. If you could find them in the original shipping box with the, that you'd send off for, I don't know what they would go for. It'd be quite a bit of money, though. Now let's look at these carded examples here. This is from 1964. This is one of the most common cards, and that actually has a price sticker there. These were often discounted beyond the 98 cents. That one's marked 89 cents from Save On, whatever that is. That's probably regional. But anyway, in 1964, or maybe a year or two later, this was sold to somebody for 89 cents. And there it gives the number designation, 873. Now look at the graphics. That's one of the things that makes MPC dinosaur and monster toys so special, the graphics on the packaging. And that's the reason these things sell for a lot, because of the graphics. The monster toys are ridiculous how much they sell for, several $100s a piece in the package. Like the carded set of 8 weird monsters is like, $700 or $800 if the package is nice. But even this, I mean, this is probably like a $200 piece, maybe more now. See, I'm quoting old prices here because I have not shopped for this stuff for a while. But anyway, it gives you an idea of what some of the carded sets looked like. I wish I had more of them. Now this one is kind of special here. You see that sticker there that somebody has put there. This was used as a movie premium to get people into theaters for Creatures the World Forgot. That's the third Hammer dinosaur movie from 1971 with Julie Edge. And there are a number of things that are really weird about this. But anyway, it's cool in that just for the fact that it's a carded set of MPC dinos. Of course, it's blank on the back, and I've got it in plastic, I keep these things stored flat. I've got them standing up for the video, but I keep them stored flat because over time, those bubbles want to work their way loose, Time is your enemy if you store them upright. But anyway, it's just a standard issue. Here's the Tyrannosaurus Rex group in the yellow, and the Dimetrodon group in the green, and you got the Allosaurus group in the blue. And it's pretty cool graphics on the original card, but they put this sticker over it to advertise this movie. And I have no idea whether this was a regional thing or just the owner of one theater or one chain of theaters did this. But, this isn't, they had this professionally prepared, this sticker, so it's not just where somebody stuck something on there to try to get butts in seats at a theater. They actually went to some trouble for this, even though they do have a typo there. Creature the World Forgot. It's supposed to be creatures. But one thing that's really weird about this, in the original movie from 1971, they didn't have dinosaurs in it. the budgets had gotten so low by that time at Hammer that they couldn't afford the special effects to have dinosaurs in the movie. And they basically substituted some topless nudity for dinosaurs in a dinosaur movie. You know, the good looking cave girls bouncing and flouncing, and that was the exploitation element that they relied on to get people in there. And what's weird is they've got a toy here for kids advertising a movie that relies on topless nudity to get butts in seats, you know. And I'm not sure if they ran an ad in the paper saying, you know, like first 10 people in the theater or first 20 or whatever get a free set of dinosaur toys, or maybe they had like a drawing, like a raffle. You got a ticket when you came in the door, and then they decided to give away so many of them to people that sat through the whole movie. I'm not sure how they did that or even where it was done. But that's a real oddity, and I'm really glad I was able to get that a few years back. Uh, and also that movie, you know, I mean, it's considered kind of weak. It's like one of the worst Hammer productions. But I'll be honest with you, I had much rather sit and watch that over and over as most of the new stuff that comes out. That's just me, you know. That's just my choice. But anyway, I hope you guys got something out of the video, and I really appreciate you watching it. And I'm going to have a lot more toy dinosaur content on this channel, along with comic books and monster stuff and, you know, different things of that vein. So you guys be sure and come back and see what's coming up. And I hope maybe this helps you to complete your own collections of these things, if that, you know, if that knowledge is something you sought about what to get to complete sets and such. And I'm gonna end it now, and I'll see you next go around.